At long last, this long three-city road trip comes to a close for the Atlanta Braves. A packed house greets us on another steamy day for baseball here at Nationals Park. The Braves have a chance to take 2 out of 3 and head back to Atlanta with a winning road trip if they can beat the Nats today. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome back to the ballpark. Boy, the Braves gave the Nationals a 9th-inning scare last night, fell a run shy. So the rubber match of the series takes place under oppressive heat conditions. And today it's Tyrell Jenkins' turn to pitch for Atlanta. And Joe, every time we see him, we're more and more impressed.
His poise, his ability all seem to be getting better and better all the time. His best baseball is in front of him because he is on the move. His last 3 starts, 2-0. 18 innings pitched, a 1 ERA. A lot more confidence every time he goes out there. Today, as we've been saying for the last 2 days, he's got to be economical. He's got to have short innings because it is oppressive.
You know all about the stars of this Nationals rotation. You know about Scherzer. You know about Strasburg. If you don't know about Tanner Roark, you're making a big mistake. This guy's one of the best and most unheralded right-handers in the National League.
Unheralded is the key word there. And if you took a poll, I'm told, of players in the Washington clubhouse, if they had a Game 7, they want this guy pitching it. He's that type of pitcher. He's got good stuff, and he's always tough on Atlanta.
We'll see if the Braves can beat the Heat, the Nats, and Tanner Roark. It's the series finale. Lineups and first pitch from Washington coming up next.
Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Big crowd filing in ever so slowly here in Washington. They are waiting as long as they can to stay as cool as they can because the weather is as big a story as the players between the white lines. This is the 3rd straight day, Joe, of heat warnings in Washington, D.C., and it's blistering on that field.
And the heat index right now at 108 on the field and in the area. Tanner Roark on the mound. Makes his 24th start. He's 12-6, a 2.88 ERA. His last 11 starts have been outstanding, a 2.65 ERA. Throws in the low 90s. But the thing to watch for today, especially against the left-handed hitters, is he's got a Greg Maddux-like backup fastball, two-seamer that left-handers will give up on, and he'll catch the inside corner. Lefty's only hitting a .188 against him for the year.
The Braves 5-4 on the road trip, have won 7 of 11 games. They'll start play with Ender Inciarte again in the leadoff position. Ender had a couple of hits. And that's in for a strike. He's 4 for 16 against the Nationals this year. And the 0-1 pitch from Roark is cut on late. Pat Hoberg has the plate. Keep an eye on his strike zone on this hot day. Hope you enjoyed Kelsey's great report on how the umpires stay cool in conditions like this. The protective vest underneath the shirt and some pockets that have refreezable packets that they put on their back and chest area to try to beat the heat upstairs for Inciarte. 1-2.
Roark against the Braves, lifetime 4-1, a 1.78 ERA in 8 starts. Braves have only scored 2 runs off of him in the last 28 innings in this ballpark.
And I'm amazed but not surprised at what you said about what some of his teammates have mentioned about Roark. On a team that has such terrific starting pitching, this guy, some say, is the one they would want to pitch in a series clinching Game 7.
Tough-minded, competitor, good stuff.
And a line drive into center starts the day for the Braves. Ender Inciarte's aboard. And here we go with a leadoff single. Braves lineup's done a nice job. Poured it on late. Fell a run shy. Eric Ibar, critical play, called out at third base, trying to extend a double into a triple. As the Nationals hung on for a 1-run victory. Freeman's killing the Nationals. Kemp back in the lineup, day game after night game. Markakis, Beckham, Brecker, and Darno at third base.
Yeah, last night I called it a base running blunder. I'll stick with that. What I was surprised to hear was that Eric said in his post-game comments is that he would do it 100 times in a row again. That doesn't make any sense.
Good lead for Inciarte. And he draws a throw. I guess the only way that's a good play, number one, is if you're safe. Period. End of story.
Period.
And that it was as close as it was is a testament to the arm of Danny Espinosa. And if Ibar had stayed at second, as he said, you had Freeman and Kemp coming up. You get 2 fly balls, you get the game tied. Instead, the Braves had to start over and couldn't complete the comeback. That's hit to left. Catch made there by Chris Heisey, who's in for Jason Worth today. And Ibar's retired for the first out of the inning.
Those 11 starts for Roark that we showed you where he's gone 8-3. These are the outings he's had by innings pitched. Listen to this: 7, 6, 7 1/3, 7, 7, 7, 8, 5, 7, 6 1/3, 7. He beat Madison Bumgarner his last time out 1-0 and went 7 innings of 5-hit shutout ball.
A shot into right field by Freddie Freeman. Inciarte cuts the bag at second. Harper's throw is going to go all the way through to third, and it's late. And Atlanta has runners at the corners in the first inning for Matt Kemp. Freeman continues to terrorize the Nationals in this ballpark.
I mean to tell you, and he's had good success against Roark. Now 10 for 26. Hooks this one past Turner. And I like what Inciarte did there with Harper just coming back into the lineup today after 8 days out. He challenged his arm and won it.
So Matt Kemp is the batter. He's got hits in 6 of his last 7 starts. Matt's knocked in 6 runs as a Brave, a chance for a 7th here and an early lead for Tyrell Jenkins. And one more note on Roark. He has thrown 7 or more shutout innings 7 times this year.
That's steady, isn't it?
One ball, no strikes. The pitch. Here's a little tapper back to the mound. The throw is going to come to the plate. Inciarte is going to be retired. Surrender running on contact is tagged out easily by Wilson Ramos. And that's the second out. Freeman to second, Kemp to first.
The only chance he had was to keep going, to maybe hope for a bad throw.
But Roark's not out of the woods yet. He's got to deal with Nick Markakis. Nick's picked up 12 hits on the road trip, one of them a home run. 62 runs batted in. And a lot of that damage has come in this situation with 2 outs. In fact, it's 25 of his 62 RBIs with 2 men out.
Had a good road trip. Had a double last night.
And you're going to see both starting pitchers do exactly what Tanner Roark did a lot today. They will be using that rosin bag liberally, trying to find any way they can to stay dry. In fact, we're told after the first game of the series with Steven Strasburg and his perspiration level, the rosin bag got clumpy. Almost no powdery rosin was coming out of the bag. So coated with moisture. 2 balls and a strike. Line drive into center field, but it's going to be caught. And that will retire the side. Ben Revere got there. The Braves got 2 hits, but couldn't break through in the top of the first. So Tyrell Jenkins is ready to go in the bottom of our first inning with a chance to send the Braves back home with a winning series and a winning road trip.
You see that first time through the order is all important. A 3.03 average. Well, it's all important because of the success the Nationals have in scoring early. 2 runs in the first inning. Last night, 90 runs so far on the year. That's the most in Major League Baseball.
And he'll try to slow down Trey Turner, who rips the first pitch up against the fence in left field. So Turner with a leadoff double, his 6th 2-base hit of the year. He wished he had one of those last night. Had he would have completed the cycle.
He likes that ball up and in. We figured that out. That's what the pitch was last night that he hit out. 4 keys to pitching success for Tyrell Jenkins. Well, just what I described to you. First inning, all important. Get through the first inning. He's already got a runner in scoring position. And it's too hot for walking. By Terrell's own admission, he's got to cut down on his walks. He's given up more walks than strikeouts. It's too hot today to deal with that. Throw more strikes, fewer walks.
And he is facing a patient Washington team. The Nationals are 5th in the National League in most walks by their offense. Here's Ben Revere with Harper on deck. Revere at .218, 2 homers and 22 knocked in. Short bunt, took a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Getaway day for both clubs. The Braves, as you know, head back to Atlanta. Off day tomorrow. The Twins are in Tuesday. Washington heads west. They open up a series with the Rockies out at Coors Field. And there's the bunt, and Recker's going to have to hustle, and he threw it down the right field line. That's going to ricochet off the stands. A run is in, and Revere's at second base. It's 1-0 Nationals. Recker might need some rosin. Freddie Freeman had no chance.
Now that one came flying out of his hand like it slipped out of there from the sweat. Who knows, but you see wiping the perspiration off. He's such a good catch and throw guy. That was an oddity. Another first inning run for
a couple of mistakes. First on the base pass for Atlanta in the first. Now the throwing error. And here is Bryce Harper. Nationals are thrilled to have him back. 8 games off for Harper with a bad neck. And that's up and away. That play for Revere was scored a single in an 8-2. Okay.
Oh, crying out loud.
It's a joke, folks. 1 ball, no strikes for Harper. And that's ripped down the line and foul.
Where are these people coming from? Ted Williams would have hit 500.
Today's official guesser, official scorer is Ben Tritipo. One ball, 1 strike for Bryce Harper, who is not having nearly the year that he had last season. To a certain degree, that's understandable. He had a fantastic 2015 season. Harper hit .330. Drove in 99 runs, scored 118, a .460 on base. As this one's lifted toward left. Kemp on the run, not going to get it. That's a base hit for Harper. He doubles. It's 2-0 Nationals.
Well, that's a welcome sign for Dusty Baker after missing 8 days, for him to come back and immediately drive the ball the other way like that. especially when they have to get on a plane and go to Coors Field for 3 days beginning tomorrow. They want him back in the lineup.
So Wilson Ramos is their cleanup man. Ramos, a budding free agent. And a Tampa foul, strike one. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Nationals. They lead 2-0. Tyrell Jenkins still looking to get his first out. Bryce Harper just played at his 58th RBI. Up the middle. That'll get Harper to third. Productive out for Ramos. One away. Anthony Rendon, the hitter. Turner led off with a double. Revere laid down a bunt. Anthony Recker picked it up, threw it down the right field line for the first run. Harper doubled home Revere. Now after the Ramos ground out, the Nationals' third baseman's up with a 2-0 lead.
Infield's going to play in, try to limit the damage. And Tyrell will try to get Rendon to hit the ball on the ground.
Line drive center. That's going to score Harper. A sacrifice fly for Rendon. His 51st RBI. And the Nationals have scored 3 in the opening inning. So welcome back for Bryce Harper. And Clint Robinson hits with the bases empty and 2 outs. In a way, it's really scary to think about this Nationals club with their 68 wins, 47 losses. They have not had their club together much again this season because of injury. That was a huge problem for Matt Williams last season. His last as the National skipper. They had their envisioned starting lineup together for all of 2 games. Dusty Baker's been a lot more fortunate than Matt. But still, these guys are playing without Ryan Zimmerman. Espinosa's missed some time. Harper's missed some time. They still hope to catch the Cubs for the best record in National League play and home field advantage through the senior circuits portion of the playoff race.
Well, because they've been able to keep their team together for the most part up at least till this point. The Braves have 44 wins. The Nationals won their 44th game on June 26th. And they're standing at 68 wins today. Picked up another game in the standings. They're 8.5 up. I don't know how anyone will catch them, and don't expect them to.
And with their starting pitching, as we said last night, when they get numbers like those, you can understand how they've jumped out to their big lead. There's another bullet. This one by Robinson into center field. So 3 runs, 4 hits as the inning continues for Washington. We're in the first, and here's Chris Heisey.
This is certainly a departure from the last 3 starts for Tyrell. But that appeared to be a changeup, and it was up. And we saw the pitch up and into Turner that got things started. Had a hard time getting the ball down. One of the things we keep bragging on for Tyrell is his poise. He doesn't get rattled. Not showing it here, but you know he needs to, that he knows he's got to get out of this. No more damage.
Chris Heisey's giving Jason Worth the day off. Limited duty for Heisey, who's hitting .204 for the year. Heisey always been known as an excellent defensive outfielder.
It's another thing for Dusty Baker today. Put Worth and Murphy on the bench for a day off, and you get 3 in the first. It's got to make him feel pretty good.
Oh, 2. That's headed for the seats out of play. We'll do it again for Chris Heisey.
One of the other strengths too, Chip, you talk about all the good things they have for a postseason team. Robinson, who's playing today, has a pinch hit homer. Heisey's got 3 pinch hit homers. Stephen Drew, who's hurt right now, he's got 3 pinch hit homers. They got a lot of veteran presence on their bench too.
I like their team. I like this Washington group better than the ones we've seen the last couple of years, especially in my opinion because Roark is back in rotation. I think the Nationals kind of overthought their club last year when they brought in Doug Fister. Roark went to the bullpen and wasn't nearly as effective. Remember 2 years ago when he started, this team won 96 games with him in the middle of their rotation.
Well, as it was suggested to us today by a member of the Braves team, and I concur, they needed another left-hander in their bullpen. And I don't mean an additional one, I mean a different one. I mean a guy that's an eighth inning guy that can help get out of jams late to get the ball to Melanson.
And obviously the disadvantage for Washington being where they are in the standings, by the time the waiver process works its way to the Nationals, a lot of teams trying to chase them can block those claims.
Right.
Unless, of course, a high salaried guy is made available and the Nationals just are forced to absorb that contract. Heisey putting up a fight with 3 in, 2 outs, first inning.
This is kind of what the Braves did to Strasburg in the first inning Friday night.
Steven threw 25 pitches in that opening inning. Tyrell Jenkins ready for his 24th today. Popped up near the Braves dugout and no play. Way up here in the stratosphere, there is a bit of a breeze. Down on the field, not much wind relief. And what little there is feels like a hairdryer in your face. The pitch to short. Ibar scoops and flips to second, and that will retire the side. The Nationals tag Tyrell Jenkins for 3 runs, 4 hits, an error, and after 1, Washington has a lead.
second inning, as I'm sure you saw in the first inning, Bryce Harper is back. He's missed the last 5 games with a neck injury. He was not in the original lineup today. It was revised about an hour out from first pitch. They put him in there batting third in right field. Now, they wanted to avoid the DL for this very reason. GM Mike Rizzo said, look, if he can play today, I want him to play today. Had they placed him on the DL, he would have had to been out another week, even if he were ready. The Nats also kicked off a 20-game stretch that started this series, so they either needed Bryce back in that lineup and playing, or honestly, they just needed that roster spot because they couldn't be playing a man down. So he is back, and he is here in full force.
That's a good point, Kelsey, especially for the Nationals, who start a road trip after this game. They go to Denver to take on the Rockies. Then they come to Atlanta for 4 games. And it's 20 games without a day off for this Nationals club. And this is the most impressive weather they've had in quite some time. And it's really gone beyond this series. Go back to that Giants series when San Francisco was in town. It was rough sledding for the players then, too. And especially for the fans. 1-2 is up and away to Beckham.
Well, they've got this nice cushion, so they could afford to kind of nursemaid Harper along to see if he's going to be able to play and play a man short if he wasn't, but not going forward. And that was a good point that Kelsey brought up.
Back to the mound. Roark's got that. And that's how the second inning starts. Gordon Beckham rolls out. And one away for Anthony Recker.
Gordon Beckham's troubles continue. His playing time is kind of spotty now because he's having trouble getting base hits. He's just hitting about $150 over his last 26 games since he came back from the DL.
Recker batting 7th, batting 2nd here in the 2nd. That's off Ramos's gear. 1 ball, no strikes. Something else to keep in mind about Tanner Roark. He is, generally speaking, not going to help you at the plate. Unlike Tyrell Jenkins, and these two men are at very different spots in their big league careers. Tyrell has had trouble with bases on balls. Generally speaking, that's not a problem for Roark. In 514 major league innings, he's walked 105 men. So if you want to beat him, you got to hit him. He's had a golden opportunity in the first and third with 1 out, and had Inciarte erased at the plate. Little dribbler back to the mound.
Yeah, I read off all those innings pitched per start over his last 11. He's up to 151 innings now. So not only is he successful, he is an innings eater and a bullpen saver. And jet plane rider.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Good eye by Recker. He's worked it full. Strike 3 outside corner. Recker was on his way to first.
Same thing applies to right-handers on that pitch away. Left-handers give up on it by jackknifing out of the way. Right-handers think it's going to stay off the plate, but that 2-seamer comes back, as you see on Fox Tracks. Tend to give up on it. Great pitch. If you can make the ball move like that.
Chase Darno gets a start today. Adonis Garcia gets the afternoon off. Right there for a called strike. Chase has 9 at bats on the trip. He's picked up 3 hits. And this one's popped up toward Turner at second. He's got the sunglasses on, and he makes the one-handed catch. 3 up, 3 down in the Atlanta second. Washington leads 3-zip. The first 2 night games of the series, but we'd be remiss if we didn't thank our terrific camera crew here at Nationals Park, doing all they can to shield themselves from the sunshine here in Game 3. So, guys, thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you. Hang in there, and hopefully we'll have a good ball game and a Braves comeback to talk about. Rough start for Terrell Jenkins. Let's see if he can right the ship here in the second. He's got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up.
That's a tough spot today. Is that center field camera position where it's right above some AstroTurf batter's eye. They're standing on concrete with a wall behind them where the sun's reflecting off that wall on them. That's a hot spot.
The Nationals are very well aware of the heat advisories, the heat warnings that have been in town all weekend. They've even gone so far as to establish cooling stations at the ballpark on the concourses here. As this one is bunted hard toward first, but foul by Espinosa. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I heard a doctor of sports medicine today on a pregame show talking about the heat and how the need is to stay hydrated. But I heard something from him that I've never heard before. He said if you get to a point where you're thirsty, you're already behind. You've got to catch up.
I think that's on my family's motto.
Stay ahead of it.
2-2 pitch. Just missed a corner. You know, Recker's grumbling about that. Fox track showed it was off the plate. Jenkins hasn't issued a walk. He did allow 4 hits in the opening inning. That's hit a long way, but into the seats near the foul pole.
I'm sure down in Henderson, Texas, Tyrell pitched on some hot days and nights. A lot of humidity. But I don't know how you get ready for this, what he's having to pitch in today with a heat index again at 108.
And Espinosa grinds out a leadoff walk.
Tyrell's last start against the Brewers on this road trip was a beauty. 6 innings, a 3-hit ball. Only gave up 1 run, and that was a home run to Ryan Braun. Won that one 2-1.
Let's see what Roark has in mind. It's a punt. It's a beauty. Number to second on the sacrifice.
Base hit.
Why not?
Let's wait to see how they score it.
Yeah, why not?
Roark was a pretty good high school quarterback, we're told. You know about Tyrell Jenkins. He was already going to go to Baylor before the Cardinals signed him. Roark was the state runner-up in high school as a quarterback in Wilmington, Illinois.
Well, there's some in Washington who say Tyrell Jenkins is already a better quarterback than RG3.
Yeah.
As that's in for a strike. This young man's been very impressive. Our first extended look at Trey Turner. We've heard all about him. He's had a big series. This one's off the end of the bat. Popped up behind the second base bag. Ibar says he's got it and makes the play. So Turner now 7 for 12 against the Braves this year. And there's the second out.
Braves are raving about the use of his hands in his swing and how good they are.
It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Will he take Ben Revere's job in center? Will he take Espinosa's job at shortstop? He's going to spark at the top of their order.
Nice when you've got options for a player of that caliber.
He's not going to take Daniel Murphy's job at second base, but he has played there in this series with Murphy at first. There's the absence of Ryan Zimmerman. The pitch is a strike, and Revere's behind 0-2. It's hot, fellas. Swing the bat. Pitch number 2 was not a strike. Fly ball headed for left center field, and Kemp is going to get there, and that retires the side. Jenkins pitches around a leadoff walk. He'll go to work in the 3rd inning. It's hot enough. 3-0. Washington the lead after 2. Field Saturday, August 20th for a free post-game concert, part of the Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines Summer Concert Series. Field passes are on sale for $20. Get them at Braves.com/Tori Kelly today.
Still saying she's a young, looks like a young Angie Dickinson.
That's quite a compliment.
That is quite a compliment.
The policewoman, Angie Dickinson. For all you millennials out there, that goes back to the time when there were maybe 4 TV channels.
No such public.
Right. No remote control. You had to get up and change the channel. And you had to fight a sibling if the channel was getting changed.
And aluminum foil was a staple for your TV antenna.
Yes, it was. Bouncing ball to short. Espinosa's got a strong arm, and Jenkins takes it easy. 1 out.
Can you imagine the outcry?
Oh,
if just for 2 weeks somehow it reverted back to that with no computers, no phones.
Oh, remember when you did something wrong, and I know you were the perfect child, so you probably never ever got in trouble. Mom and Dad would send you to the room, right? That was your punishment. Nowadays, you want to get your kid to toe the line, and I got 3 teenagers. You threaten to take away their phone. Oh my gosh, you've sent them to Siberia without shoes. It's unbelievable.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh my gosh. Enciarte led off with a base hit, and he's pushed off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. The other funny thing to hear teenagers complain about is as this one's hit the other way. Beautiful piece of hitting by Ender. He's thinking 2, and he's going to try. Here comes the throw. It's going to be close, and he got in ahead of the tag. That was a perfect slide that gave him just enough room to beat the tag, and it's a 1-out double for Ender.
He went to a point on the base the farthest from Turner's tag, and that point was the one pointed toward the right field corner. And I've said before about Ender, he's an excellent slider because he doesn't stay on the ground long. He slides late. If he goes into the middle of the bag or the front side of the bag, he's out. Great slide.
So he's 2 for 2, and the Braves have Ibar and Freeman coming up with a chance to get these 3 runs right back here in the 3rd inning. Ibar flied out his first time up. How many cable channels do you think there are on a cable package? 200 different channels
at my house. 6,000-7,000,
right?
Yeah.
It's fun listening to teenagers say there's nothing on. Really? Pickoff play, and just back safely. I mean, if you can fix it, plant it, restore it, eat it, buy it, it's on a channel someplace. Ooh. I think the Nats might take a look at this one. They are gonna take a look.
Yeah, I didn't think it was even close until that last replay.
This play is under review.
Brian may be complaining that the hitter was already in the box. Terry Pendleton also, and the pitcher was on the mound.
And if that's the case, it's not reviewable because we're ready for action. But apparently, the first base umpire.
You know what? Mike Everett's a guy that threw Brian Snitker out earlier this year.
Yeah.
and he had a little bit of a hot temper about it.
And he said time was called, so that's why the review was allowed. And that angle, I think, is the decisive one. The question is his right thumb touching the bag?
Well, hard to tell. I hope so. Batter's in the box and the pitcher's still on the rubber. No review.
And that's what the Braves were complaining about. But time was called and the verdict is in, and the answer is he is safe. Wow. Thank you. Dusty Baker can't believe it. He steps away from the dugout seat and heads to the cooler. Washington loses their challenge. The call stands, and Enciarte stands at second with one out. Oh, and 1 for Ibar. And a shot to left field. That's in for a hit. Heisey will come up cleanly, but he'll have no play. And the Braves are on the board with an Ibar single to left. Crowd is unhappy. It's 3-1 now. Washington in front.
Didn't you kind of have a feeling that was going to happen? Especially after it looked like he might have been out at second. High slider, maybe a bad cutter. And Eric continues his hot ways. He's now hitting 18 out of 19. And it was a slider.
And the Braves bring the tying run to the plate. It's Freddie Freeman, who jumps on another first pitch. This one's popped down the left field line and just foul. Freddie is locked in this ballpark. He loves hitting against the Nationals here at Nationals Park.
Fastball down and a little bit out over the plate in the first inning and launched it. He's got all the Braves mustered against Lopez for quite a while.
4 career homers for Freeman. This is his 50th game here. And a lot of pasture to play with 1 on, 1 in, and 1 out. And Ramos with a nice stop.
And he's driven in 11 runs on this road trip.
Last year, watching former pitching coach Steve McCaddy agonize over how the Nationals were going to pitch to Freddie Freeman was one of the season's highlights. Little tapper back to the mound. Roark's going to go to second for 1. The turn in time. It's a double play. So the Braves bounce into their first twin killing, but they pick up their first run. It's now a 2-run Washington game.
On Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Nice crowd in Washington on a sultry day in our nation's capital. Bottom of the 2 o'clock hour Eastern time. Terrell Jenkins has a run back. He's down 3-1. As Bryce Harper hits the first one a mile high to right. Nick Markakis makes the play. There's the first out of the inning. This is what you love about Tyrell Jenkins. You never know if he's up 3, down 3. He just goes out and competes and pitches. And if he can shut these guys down the way the Braves are swinging the bat on the trip, you feel pretty good. The 3's not going to be enough to win this game.
Yeah, and we showed you those first time through the order type batting averages. 303 the first time through. That's kind of held true today. And then he kind of settles in. Just got to figure out a way to avoid that kind of problem in the first. Just keep putting zeros on the board and give your offense a chance.
Wilson Ramos, the batter, he bounced out to second. And a strike. Will Ramos remain a National at the end of the season? That is a big question around these parts. There were some who wondered if Steven Strasburg would stay with the Washington club. He was a pending free agent, but the Nationals locked him up with a long-term deal. Broken bat, another ground ball, and 2 outs.
Ramos just turned 29, and his career batting average coming into the season is 258. His career high in home runs was 16, and that was in 2013. He's already got a 332 average and 18 homers this year. Injuries have plagued him in 2013, 2014. So the question is for people who are going to have to write a big check if they want to sign him was this a fluke this year?
So even with the so-called lack of catching depth available in the major leagues, as good a player as Wilson Ramos has been, he might be the scariest potential free agent signing of the available guys.
He's going to get some big bucks.
No
somewhere.
question. There's no doubt.
Maybe here with the Nats. Recker wanted that one. Double pump on the throwback.
Rendon with a sac fly in the 3-run Nationals first. Same spot as pitch number 2, but that one's called a strike.
Exactly the same. Talked him into it.
A cue shot and more funny spin. This one right to the bag, and Freddie Freeman makes the play. Severino was out on a similar squibber. Rendon is retired, and Jenkins gets him in order as we head to the 4th. fan. Bless her heart.
Kelsey, keep your arms down. People behind you would prefer you.
Especially with the fan blowing in.
But I don't blame you a bit.
Yeah, she's working hard, folks. It's oppressively hot down there.
And that's just a bunker down there, all concrete.
So time for our cold hard facts. We'll take any kind of cold we can get today. Brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light.
Braves offense has really kicked it into gear, and no coincidence that right after the Matt Kemp trade, the Braves have averaged 5 runs a game, gone 7-5. That's 9 for 34 on this road trip with a homer.
How about the fact that he's in their day game after the night game?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Know your count. There's a nice story written about Matt on this road trip. One of the things that both he and the Braves are hoping that an off season of conditioning he'll drop a few pounds. Not that Matt is out of shape by any stretch of the imagination, but they feel playing in the heat and humidity of Atlanta takes some pressure off his hips, back, and help him be an even more productive player than he already is. There's nothing wrong with a 24 homer 75 RBI season with about a third of the season left.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean I agree with you, but I think it goes right to his history of some hip issues, that if he's got less weight on him, then you're not staring at some DL stints or missed time.
One up, one down in the 4th inning from Markakis. Nick takes a strike called at the bottom of the zone. 0-1.
Braves are 13-15 since the All-Star break, so there's actually some good work going on prior to Kemp's arrival too.
And hitting .272 in that stretch. And you always look better when you score a few runs. I mean, it goes without saying. First 6 weeks, that was horribly difficult for this offense. And when you don't score and your ERA as a team is over 6 in the first month, you're going to have the kind of start the Braves did. Braves slugging percentage in April, .289. And that was 70 points lower than the next to last team in the majors.
Game 1 of the season, the Braves were able to push the Nationals to extra innings, but got beat 4-3 in 10. The next day they only got 1 run. And that kind of spelled things that were to come when the Braves got off that 0-9 start.
So the pitch of decision coming from Markakis. 1 out, nobody aboard. And ball 4. So a rare walk from Tanner Roark. Got to make him pay for that. Gordon Beckham will be the hitter. You're right about Gordon and his offensive issues. He's 1 for 16 now on the road trip. And in Gordon's last 27 games after coming off the disabled list, 13 hits in his last 84 at bats. And the sad part is, between those 2 hamstring DL stints, he was doing a good job hitting the ball hard, got on base 39% of the time. Hit .286, about a hit a day over a 21 game stretch.
Roark didn't start with the Nationals. He was actually drafted by the Rangers in the 25th round of the 08 draft. Came to the Rangers on a trade at the deadline for Christian Guzman in 2010. At that time, in 09 at Bakersfield, he'd gone 10-0. And at Frisco in AA for the Rangers at the time of the trade, he was 10-5.
He's one that got away.
He is one that got away, and he's one that gets taken for granted here. We keep saying that, but it's not often you kick a 15-game winner to the curb and say go to the bullpen like they did last year.
Two balls and a strike. Something brewing for the Braves here in the fourth, perhaps. Markakis at first. Wrecker on deck. Beckham in the driver's seat. Up the middle, Espinosa takes it to the bag and throws a strike to first. That's an inning-ending double play, the second in as many innings for Tanner Roark, whose lead remains 3-1.
Explain to you how the umps and the players are keeping cool. It is currently 97 degrees, feeling like 106. So the Nationals know that they had to do something for their fans. So they have set up multiple rooms around the stadium that are considered cooling centers with ACs. They also have missing fans locations. The players also have those in the dugouts. And every fan is allowed to bring 2 1-liter water bottles with them to help hydrate on this hot, hot day.
And you can just look, Kelsey, at the lower bowl of the stadium. They've had big crowds here the entire series, but look how many empty seats there are. Fans are here, but they are giving up the seats right down by the field for shaded seats up under the concourses.
Don't blame them. Best seat in the house today may be up here in this level where we are, off to our right, where they've got a roof that covers them and a little breeze blowing in from behind them.
Clint Robinson leads off for the Nationals. Tyrell Jenkins has set down 6 straight. And the count 3-1.
Good spot. 3-1. At the borderline call. He had a quick inning last inning. See if we can do it again.
Good comeback from a 3-0 count to strike out Robinson. First of the day for Tyrell Jenkins. 1 out.
I know the first inning was kind of ugly. Got in some trouble early. The error didn't help. got hit pretty hard, gave up 4 hits. But I like watching him pitch, and I like the progress he's making. And to be able to stick it out in this heat and try to give him his team some innings. Well done.
Ball to left. Kemp will surround this one. And he's got it. Quick resolution for Heisey's at bat. Just like that. There are 2 outs. Keep an eye on the Mets and Padres today. The Mets won last night. They're winning today 2-0. That game's through 6 innings. It's also oppressively hot in New York. Steven Matz has a no-hitter through 6. As he faces San Diego today. And here's Espinosa, who walked to start the 2nd. Another game of interest for the Braves isn't taking place in the major leagues, but at AAA. Julio Teheran is pitching a rehab start today. That one tipped off at 2 o'clock. Julio's facing the Louisville Bats. Trying to get an update on his line. It's thought that Julio will pitch against Washington when we get back to Atlanta. Perfectly positioned was Ibar, and the throw to first retires the side. 9 up, 9 down for Tyrell Jenkins. A very easy 4th inning. He needed that. Took him just 9 pitches. Everybody trying to stay cool on this mid-August afternoon. We've completed 4 innings in Washington, where the Nats got 3 in the first. Tanner Roark leads the game by a 3-1 score.
Boy, I hope that fan's big enough. As hot as it is down there, you need something.
Anthony Recker gets things started and takes a strike.
See if the Braves can have an extended inning and have Roark out there for a while and see if it puts a dent in his effort.
They've had base runners in every inning but the 2nd. Their run came in the 3rd. That's popped up behind the plate, and no play for Ramos. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You mentioned the Mets a minute ago. It's my understanding that tirade that Terry Collins had in his post-game press conference the other day was directed at their young players, that they are not showing enough effort, enthusiasm, work ethic, that Almost like they were entitled to be in the big leagues and didn't have to work anymore. And they've made a couple of personnel changes the last day or two.
Rolled foul and into the Braves dugout. Well, it's hard to believe that's the case, because the Mets are only 2.5 games out of the wild card race. It's going to take a miracle for the Mets to catch the Nationals. They've now fallen 10.5 games back. They've gotten Jose Reyes back. He played last night. Played shortstop, as a matter of fact, because of injuries. Cespedes is nearing a return. And fly ball into shallow left. That ball is going to be caught by Heisey. And Rector is retired for the first out. I don't think the Mets have won back-to-back games in a month.
Wow. Can't get anywhere that way, can you?
So Roark has his first out. Here's d'Arnaud. He's popped out. The other team trying to catch the Nationals and hold on to a playoff spot is the Marlins, who apparently have lost Mike Stanton again. Excuse me, Giancarlo Stanton again. Stanton was the last out of the game against the White Sox last night and pulled a groin muscle trying to go to second base. He was tagged out for the final out of their loss last night. And that's another club that's been savaged and ravaged by injuries this year. Justin Bour still hasn't come back from his bad ankle. No timetable for him. Now you lose Stanton. They've had D. Gordon out for 80 games.
What's the most games Stanton's played in the last 3 or 4 years?
Not a lot. I don't know the specific number. But
110, 120 max.
He's got a good shot of playing fewer than 125 in 4 of the last 5 years. And he has that gigantic contract that also has the out clauses and all of that. Little roller. Roark with a bare hand makes a gorgeous play. d'Arnaud was thinking infield hit, but Roark made the play to his right, and he's the only man that could have gotten him. Excellent effort.
And if he doesn't get it barehanded, it's a hit. Nicely done. High pitch, chopped into the ground, and then throwing off balance. Still made a good throw too. Got a little help over there from Robinson.
It's like he's throwing the bubble screen.
Yeah.
Right?
145 games 2 years ago for Stanton. Jenkins.
That's a reasonable number. Out of 162. This one's bounced up the middle. And Espinosa behind the bag, throws on the run, and Roark has an easy fifth. 1, 2, 3 and out. He'll go to work for the Nationals next. Diamondbacks this year. Boston beat them 6-3 last night. Rick Porcello's got the ball for them today. And for Arizona, a team that was a real sexy pick to maybe win the National League West, it's been an utter disaster. The Diamondbacks are at 48-68. They've won only 19 games this year at home. Shelby Miller's been dispatched to the minor leagues. Greinke spent a month or so on the DL with an oblique problem. A.J. Pollock got hurt. And some big decisions are coming up for Ken Kendrick and the Arizona ownership group. They have to notify Dave Stewart, Tony La Russa, and the rest of their baseball management team by the end of this month if they're going to be back next season. And there are some who feel that that's right now an open question after Arizona underperformed so badly this year.
Yeah, it's been a lost season for what was supposed to be a very good year. Shelby Miller's still in AAA too, isn't he?
Last time I checked, he pitched great in his last outing. His name was floated about at the trade deadline, but the Diamondbacks obviously feel they can get him turned around, and I hope they do. Shelby's a good guy, talented guy. Speaking of talented, Tyrell Jenkins is pitching great. First 3 hitters reached for the Nationals today. They have 1 hit, 1 walk since. He has set down 9 consecutive hitters.
Speaking of good outings, how about Colby Allard last night at Rome? Young man who was the first-round pick a year ago. Went 6 innings and struck out 9. 4-hit shutout, 2 walks. He's only given up 3 runs in his last 18 innings.
Three balls and a strike for Tanner Roark. He's the pitcher. And Jenkins just lost him. That's not a good walk. But it'll force Roark to run the bases. And it brings up Trey Turner. Mentioned Julio Teheran's pitching a rehab start today through 3 innings against Louisville. 3 innings, 4 strikeouts, no hits.
Arodys Vizcaíno last night, an inning, his first rehab appearance, and struck out 2.
So Julio, Vizcaíno, and Tyler Flowers, who had a couple of hits yesterday, all could be back on the upcoming homestand. It's a brief one. 2 with the Twins starting Tuesday night. Then we'll see the Nationals on back-to-back weekends. Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, 1:35 on August 21st. Then we head west for our last West Coast trip. 4 with the Diamondbacks and 3 with the Giants. And then after we come home for 3 days, unbelievable. 3 games with the Padres. All the other games for Atlanta, with the exception of the final 3, are against National League Eastern Division teams.
Yeah, but today's the 20th out of 28 days on the road. That counts off days. They come home this week and they go back out for 13 of the next 17.
Two balls and a strike for Turner. Up and in. It's 3-1.
Got him to fish for that changeup. Might have been a curveball, something off speed his last time up. He seems to, as we pointed out, he likes that ball in and he likes it up and in. Gets his hands inside the baseball, can turn on it. Try to go away.
And he hit it away. Trey Turner's having a marvelous series. He's got 2 more hits and they're at first and second, nobody out.
Again, the use of his hands, very impressive. Pitch up though, belt high. Put the barrel on it. Can't get him out.
I'll be interested to talk to Dusty Baker when the Nationals get to Atlanta. Dusty was a terrific hitter in his day. He's been a terrific hitting coach. He understands the science of hitting. Can't wait to pick his brain on what he likes about Trey Turner. There's a lot to like already. As Ben Revere bats, 2 on, nobody out. Stabbed at that one, didn't get it. Strike 1. And the Atlanta bullpen has begun to work. And Madison Young there is the first man throwing.
There's a little meeting called there by Tyrell. He wanted to talk to Chase. I wonder if he's planning on trying to pitch Revere away and make sure he bounces off the mound to cover the third base side, so maybe they can get that lead runner. Let's see how they set it up. May not have to worry about it. Revere, a pretty good bunter, has bunted right through one and fouled that one off.
Nothing in 2. And over the screen into the seats.
We spend 3 days up here in this lofty perch. We're going to go home and feel like we're ducking and dodging foul balls. We'll be so close to the action.
Yes, we will. And it's a shame too. We don't want to sound like we're complaining, because look, it's a privilege to follow and cover Major League Baseball, but this is the worst press box in the National League. Certainly, we don't see the other league very often. And the reason I say that it's unfortunate, otherwise this is a terrific park. This whole area has been rejuvenated by Nationals Park, down by the Naval Yards. Condos are springing up, grocery stores, restaurants, shops, and the like. But every time a broadcast emanates from this place, one of the first things they talk about is how lousy this is, instead of how nice everything else is. It's a shame. 1-2. It is outside, just missed. 2-2 your count. This is the old Tyrell again. Deep counts, walks starting to pile up, and he's on a very short leash in a 3-1 game, one would think.
He was head of him 0-2. 2 fastballs, tried to get him, go after him away. Now he's got to throw a strike.
And it's grounded to Darno, plays it off his chest, steps on the bag, and that's all he'll get. So Roark is forced at third. Runners at first and second with 1 out now.
Got the leading runner. Double play still in order. Trouble is, this guy's back in the lineup.
There's some who theorize that one reason for Harper's poor overall season numbers comes back to a series they had with the Chicago Cubs. When the Nationals played the Cubs in May, they were swept in 4 games at Wrigley Field. They lost 5-2, 8-6, 8-5, and 4-3 in extra innings. In that series, Bryce Harper was walked 13 times, including 6 times in 1 game. And While it did wonders for Bryce Harper's on-base percentage, there's some who theorize that that really got in his head. And look at what he's done over his last 70 games.
It would lead you to believe that those two went hand in hand.
You might recall Harper made some headlines in the early days of the season in Atlanta when, after one of the Nationals' victories, he sported a cap that said "Make baseball fun again." The bases on balls against the Cubs were not fun for Bryce Harper. Back in the lineup today with a double, a run, and an RBI. That came in the 3-run Nationals first.
It's a pretty good pitch. Usually likes the ball down and in. Can't believe he laid off. He'll be swinging.
Bases are loaded. Third walk of the inning. Excuse me, third walk of the game. Second walk of the inning for Tyrell. But you've got catcher Ramos with a ground ball at somebody away from an inning-ending double play, perhaps.
In that start at Milwaukee, one of the things that really helped him, he walked 3 guys, and in the innings where he walked those 3 batters, he got double plays every inning.
Ramos is hitting to 10 double plays. Second most on the team.
Aggressive, likes to swing, but you've got to entice him. Don't pitch too far off the plate. 2 groundouts today, chasing borderline pitches.
Dangerous pitch. Got the call.
And I mean, on Foxcraft, that just nipped the corner. Tracked right to the bottom, down and away.
Two and one. Now he's got to throw him a strike. Driven toward right. Markakis on the run in the corner, makes the play. Tagging is Turner. He will come home and score. Ramos with a sacrifice fly extends the Nationals lead. Revere to third. It's a 4-1 score.
All right, you can live with one. They loaded one out. Limited to that.
Rendon has a sac fly himself. That came in the 3-run first. 51 ribbies for the Washington third baseman.
little bit on his fastball. That may have been a two-seam sinker, though, that just went down and into Rendon. Stands to reason that he's getting tired.
And that's why he's tired. That throws 29th pitch of the inning. As we said so often, this is the challenge for a young Braves pitching staff, learning how to navigate their way through a lineup a third time. Fly ball hit toward left, kept going back, still sprinting out of the warning track and gone. Rendon has hit a 3-run homer.
Held Rendon in check most of the year. He had a 143 average against the Braves coming in, but he's now hit 2 home runs in this series. And this is a backbreaker right here. But got the count in his favor. Hitter's count, didn't miss it.
So the Nationals wore down Tyrell Jenkins here in the 5th inning. 29 pitches. The 3-run homer by Rendon, part of a 4 RBI day. And the Nationals now lead 7-1 in the home 5th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Ford dealer and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Well, almost before I could get the words out of my mouth, you saw the challenge that a young staff has to go through. When you pitch behind in the count to a good hitting ball club, you're going to have trouble. And on the 29th pitch of the inning, Tyrell Jenkins gives up a long homer to Rendon. That ends his day as Madison Younginer is on for the 4th time.
Right over the top fastball. Mid to upper 90s at times from what we've seen.
Clint Robinson's the hitter, 1 for 2 on the day. 3 in the 1st, 4 in the 5th for the Nationals. The line for Tyrell Jenkins, 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs. More walks than strikeouts again, 3-1 there. And the back-breaking home run by Rendon. Robinson hails from Braves country. Dothan, Alabama. Then went to Troy University.
That's Dave Mecca country down there.
And had a good year with the Nationals. Played 126 games, hit 10 homers in 309 at bats. Limited duty for him this year. The pitch is rolled foul. Big thrill for Robinson came last year at the ripe old age of 30. Made his first opening day roster. His first professional season was 2007. That's taken low. Full count. Line into left field, a base hit.
That was a nice swing, a little inside out swing on a pitch that was down, may have been out over the plate. Couldn't quite tell about location, but a real easy swing. Just down. Got the barrel to it.
And Chris Heisey, the 8th man to hit. A long defensive inning. And the lesson, I would guess, can't throw ball one every time.
Can't walk the pitcher starting an inning.
That's part of it too.
It's all the hard part of the patient part you've got to live with young pitchers. I talked about how Brian Snitker's done a great job of biting his lip. Roger McDowell, the same thing with some of these guys who continue to pitch into deep counts, walk too many guys, and you just hope they're getting better with each outing.
Fly ball headed towards center, and Inciarte to his right makes the play, and the 5th inning is in the books. 4 more across for the Nationals. Rendon hits a 3-run homer, and Washington now a big lead. On the Nationals, this special ticket package includes an Auburn-themed Braves hats, access to a pregame networking event, and a donation. Go to Braves.com/Auburn For more details, you know, Braves athletic trainer Jim Lovell will be fired up about that, as will be the top trainer for the Braves, Jeff Porter. His son David is an Auburn grad and headed to UGA and the vet school. So that'll be a treat for both of those guys.
I'm the parent of an Auburn grad as well. Right. Wonder who they open up with in football.
Pop fly by Inciarte right at Bryce Harper, battling the sun, and he makes the play.
Seems to me they have a tough opener, maybe Clemson or something like that.
Really? That would be a tough opener. Go Clemson. Here's Hart. Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. Eric Ibar is having a resurgent last month.
209 to 243, not easy to do with as many at-bats as he has. Big double last night. That got the Braves within one.
Braves have one more trip coming to Washington. It'll be September 5th, 6th, and 7th. And the September 5th game is Labor Day.
Yeah,
4 o'clock start.
I hope it's cooler.
Yeah. Braves will start that trip with the Phillies. That one's high and tight for Ibar. 1-2 your count. Final homestand for the Braves, September 27th through October 2nd. The final 3 games in Turner Field history will feature the Braves and the Detroit Tigers. Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez and company.
Might be some huge games for Detroit.
You bet.
It's interesting today, these 2 pitchers that started the game, Roark's still out there, of course. He works from as far to the third base side of the pitching rubber as he can get and still make contact with the rubber. Tyrell Jenkins worked from the far first base side. But from that spot, he steps toward the right-handed batter's box. His footprint out there on the mound is not in a straight line to the plate.
And he just struck out Ibar.
And that helps create that movement for him that comes back to lefties when they give up on him.
Second strikeout for the Nationals starter. And we're seeing just how tough this guy is.
Goes across his body. The ball cuts back across the inside corner. And in this ballpark now, the Braves have scored 3 earned runs in 33 1/3 innings, 33 2/3 innings.
Ripped towards center. That's going to get down. Freeman has his second hit. A sizzling road trip for the Braves first baseman. Would like to score another run today. He's done that in 8 consecutive games, 3 games shy of Martin Prado's team record of 11 games in a row with a run. Matt Kemp is 0 for 2. Fouled away. As I mentioned last night, I'm sure Matt's looking forward to an off day in his new home city. Chance to get himself settled into Atlanta. The ball club gets back together Tuesday night for Joel De La Cruz and Irvin Santana at 7 o'clock. Mike Fultonevich and Kyle Gibson will square off on Wednesday night. And the Braves will entertain Washington in a 4-game series starting Thursday. Foul at third. And the count to Kemp is 1-2. Steven Matz, by the way, lost his no-hit bid in the 7th inning. Alexi Ramirez of San Diego broke it up. At last report, the Mets were up 2-0.
It's kind of tough to read their out-of-town scoreboard when the sun is shining directly on it. Right there in right center.
Two balls, two strikes. And in the dirt.
SunTrust Park will have a great out-of-town scoreboard. How the seat installation is going.
I'll bet Tom's
glad
over there today.
Going.
Yeah, he's probably over there right now. As that one's taken outside, Kemp's aboard with a 2-out walk, and it'll bring up Nick Markakis. Again, I think it'd be a great idea with all the downtime that Tom has between his special assistant duties, his broadcast duties. He should install every seat numbered 4 and 7 in the entire ballpark.
I thought he was already doing that.
I think he's about halfway through the 4s.
Okay.
So he's got some more work to do.
I know he's already worn out 2 hard hats.
One to Nick. He had a great tour of SunTrust Park back in May. Might be time to make another visit.
Get an update. Go to suntrustpark.com and get a video look at where they are today. Always streaming. See, I don't even know what that means, but I know that it's always streaming.
You sound like an expert.
I shouldn't have said that, should I?
No, it's perfect. You did exactly right.
No, I mean, I shouldn't have admitted it.
Oh, no, well. Well, you are referred to in social media as Twitterless Joe. So
it's one that I wear proudly.
Yes, well, I know you do. But I'm saying your internet or lack of internet savvy is not exactly a state secret.
Gosh, it's wonderful.
2 balls and a strike. 7-1 Washington, and Espinosa handles that one, and that'll retire the side. No runs, a hit, 2 left. Home 6th coming up. Roark in command again over the Braves. First ever craft beer night, Friday, August 19th. The Nationals will be in Atlanta. Hope you'll enjoy a selection of craft beers from local Atlanta breweries. Go to Braves.com/brews for all the details about this ticket package. And don't want to sound like a grumpy old man, get off my lawn, but I really hope, in keeping with something we talked about last night, Major League Baseball takes a much stronger look and better look at the schedule and the way that they group the teams and when you face them. No problem with seeing your divisional opponents a lot in September when the games are supposed to mean a lot. But seeing the same team on back-to-back weekends, I think in some ways is a real tough sell for the fans. What's new, what's fresh, what's exciting about seeing the same team back-to-back so close?
Balanced schedule. I'm with you on your plan that you had. Balanced schedule, play everybody in the National League twice at home, twice on the road, and then alternate home and home with every American League team. Every team, not just a division in the American League. You're going to play interleague, play interleague.
Yeah. The distinctions between the leagues, I think, those lines are getting blurred more and more each year. Again, not to say back in the old days, but back when you played, there wasn't really as much free agent movement. Certainly wasn't interleague play. Certainly wasn't as much televised baseball as there is now.
No.
And so
and the game's changed. I mean, that was a long time ago. Yeah. So I understand that there are changes that have to happen, and the evolution of the game that some of us like or don't like. But this schedule thing needs some attention.
Sharply hit back into the backhand play. That takes care of Espinosa. Well, we are trying to grow the sport. We are trying to highlight the players. We are trying to get greater and greater access to the players to make them more people than just raw numbers. And it makes no sense to me that you black out half of your audience from the other half of the league every year, with the exception of the one round of interleague play we have.
That's a good point you just brought up, though, that reminded me of something. If the Players Association, if that is one thing they want to have addressed, is the schedule, then there are some things that from a television standpoint and from a team standpoint that need to be addressed by the Players Association, and that is access. Because anymore, it's hard to find players to talk to before or after the game, because they either retreat to their lounge,
which is off limits,
right, or the training room. And it's getting harder and harder to have those types of communications with players, so the fans actually get to know who they are, see how they react. There are some guys that the press, the written press, the electronic media go to every day and wear them out, because they're the guys that stand out there and will actually talk to the media. And it shouldn't just fall on one or two guys. So that needs to be brought up as well.
Younginer skips one up there. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Tanner Roark. Big inning for the Nationals started when he led off the 5th with a walk. Hey, I like the idea of interleague play. I think it's been kind of overhyped now, especially the way that it's been done. And an NBA styled schedule, I think, makes total sense now. Wouldn't the fans in Atlanta love to see Mike Trout every other year come to their ballpark, or at least have a chance to see him every year on television if they can't get to the ballpark? It would require more interleague play, but if that's as popular as baseball purports it to be, and if it's as popular as the fans by the attendance count say it is, I guess more interleague play would be a good thing. I don't think you need to play the Washington Nationals, the Phillies, or the Marlins 19 times to know your level of competition against them. Agreed. So Commissioner Manfred, Joe and I are available for consultations in the offseason. as Youngner has his second out.
Oh no, I'll be in my lounge.
It's a good point. Youngner's retired 3 straight after Robinson's hit. And back to the top and Trey Turner. You're trying to crowd him. Problem with that is if you miss, he's going to whack it.
Slightly built, maybe 180 pounds, maybe. But boy, does he use those hands to get the barrel there. Good bat speed. .22 career average in the minor leagues. Came into this game today hitting .315. And he's got 2 hits.
And a diving stop by d'Arnaud. Great play. And Freeman with an excellent effort to move inside the foul line to handle that throw and nailed Turner, who can really fly. That was a beauty at the hot corner. And it's a 1-2-3 Nationals 6th. .com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Seventh inning. Beckham, Recker, d'Arnaud versus Tanner Roark, who's allowed only 1 run. And he'd probably be spitting nails after this game because that run he allowed came after he thought Enciarte was picked off second base. Replays were at best inconclusive.
Yeah.
Ibar followed with a base hit that made it a 3-1 game.
And here he is again pitching in the 7th.
And ground ball Rendon. Good hitter, good fielder. Only 5 errors for Rendon this year. And there's the first out.
2 sharply hit balls by Beckham, but both right at infielders. Hitting in some bad luck at times too. Two double plays turned behind Roark today. That gives him 21 turned behind him this year.
Braves are road weary. They've had a good road trip. Disappointing Game 10 performance today. I hope to make a game of it here in the final couple of innings and head back to the much cooler weather in Atlanta. Drilled down the left field line. Recker's a strong man. Look how far he hit that ball.
Really only one bad game on this road trip, and that was that last game in Milwaukee where they scored in every inning. Things got out of hand. This one's 7-1, but last night the Braves trailed 7-3 going into 7-2 going into the ninth inning and put 4 on the board to make it close. Had a chance to really tie it if it weren't for the base running mistake. Get him. Back knee.
Ooh. Anthony's so big and strong. I'm not sure what's hurting worse, his knee or the baseball that hit him.
It's kind of funny. It looks like Anthony's drying out his pockets. No, he's soaked. Kelsey talked to us yesterday and told us she had had a visit with Mike Foltynewicz and how he could have slept for 24 hours. He was so beat after his start Friday night from the heat. And I asked him last night how he was doing. He said kind of a slow recovery. Very slow, but today he said he felt much better.
So the day off for everybody comes at a perfect time.
Yes, it does.
And Julio will be back, assuming all goes well today. So a few extra days, a day off for a couple of guys perhaps coming as well, as Recker's retired. Roark's third strikeout, 2 up, 2 down. And here's d'Arnaud.
While he has some teammates that are averaging 9 and 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, Roark's is up there too. He's averaging 7.5 per 9. And he had a game against Minnesota earlier this year where he struck out 15.
And I don't think of him as a strikeout guy.
And that was in 7 innings. He beat Minnesota 2-0. 7 innings, a 2-hit shutout ball, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts through 121 pitches.
He's only thrown 93 today. And his reward for this start is he won't have to pitch against the Rockies in Denver. He will, though, have to face the Braves at some point in Atlanta, and that's, pitchers tell you, one of the most difficult things to do.
Yeah, but from his standpoint, the way he's owned Atlanta,
well, if this score holds, Tanner Roark will earn his 13th win. That'll be more than Max Scherzer and only 2 fewer than Steven Strasburg. He'll pull into a third-place tie with Johnny Cueto of the Giants with 13 wins. Jake Arrieta of the Cubs is second with 14.
So there are no weaknesses on this club unless you really want to break down their bullpen. And as I said earlier, I think they need a different left-hander. Scherzer with 12 wins, Strasburg with 15, and this guy probably going to get number 13 today.
Gio Gonzalez, their fourth starter, has 8 wins, 8 and 9 on the year. They're deep. They are deep, and they're good, and they're winning Game 3.
Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
We're stretching in D.C. as the Braves trail 7-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Julio Teheran making his rehab start in Gwinnett tonight. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs with no walks and 5 strikeouts. Julio threw 73 pitches, 51 of those for strikes. We do expect him to rejoin the rotation this Friday.
All right, Kelsey, that's certainly good news. Can't wait to see Julio back. As you look at Eric O'Flaherty pitching in his 37th game, O'Flaherty will have the 2-3-4 hitters for the Nationals, who lead the game 7-1 here in the 7th.
And for Eric, his 5th game on the road trip, 2 in St. Louis, 2 in Milwaukee, 3 innings total, 3 hits. Gave up a run his last time out at Milwaukee in that game where they scored in every inning. He's walked 2, struck out 1 on the trip. He'd like to work on that ERA and get that down.
Revere's scored twice. He's got a bunt single with a big giant asterisk next to it. And he's reached on a force play. Little bouncer. Eric handles the funny spin, then flipped it underhand over Freeman's head, and that's going to roll into the seats. And Revere will stand at second base with nobody out.
You know, as temperamental as Eric's back is, I hope he didn't hurt himself on that. There and then chasing it, landing funny on his left foot. Second missed play in as many nights on a slowly hit ball by Braves pitchers.
Really shocked they didn't give him a double on that play.
Good point.
It is the second Braves error today. 7 runs, 7 hits for the Nationals, and here's Bryce Harper. And Eric wants to be sure with a runner at second.
Harper's got such good hand-eye coordination. Talked about this back in April about his swing and how he not only has an open stance and then turns, but his whole body just winds up for his swing. The front shoulder starts coming back, the hands go back, and then throws the hands.
Last year, Harper became the youngest unanimous winner of the MVP award in history. The only players younger than Harper to win the MVP were Vida Blue, Johnny Bench, and Stan Musial. .42 homers, 124 walks. Bryce Harper.
And hit a home run his first time up this year in Atlanta in the first inning.
Foul, and now 2-2.
He wants the ball in and he wants to pull the ball, but that doesn't mean he can't hit the ball a long way the other way, as he demonstrated his first time up today. Doubling on a short hop off the wall after being off for a week.
Swing and a miss. Harper's retired. So Flaherty has his first out of the inning. Harper's 1 for 3. And here's Ramos, who's 0 for 2 with a sac fly.
Now, Ramos had a 7-game hitting streak working into the series, but took an 0 for 4 Friday night. 0 for 2 today with the sac fly to give him 64 RBIs. The Braves have cooled him off a little bit.
Yeah. I am told that Wilson chant is a tribute to Ramos from a song by a band called Fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not done anything to do with Castaway? Maybe their song had something to do with the Castaway.
Let's see here. There's a story in the Washington Post from May of 2014. With regards to Ramos. And the story goes that in April of 2013, the lead singer for Fish, Trey Anastasio, implored Seattle area fans to use the Wilson chant for the Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson. That caught on as the Seahawks won their way to the Super Bowl. And now the Nationals, in the role of copycat, use it for Wilson Ramos.
Oh, I see. Because they also stole something from the Jets. Every time the Nationals score, they go N-A-T-S, Nats, Nats, Nats. Woo! Like the Jets fans.
And
someday they'll be original.
well, and as our producer Brian Woodrum said, the Walgreens logo on the front of that Nationals jersey.
Started.
2-2 is out of play. So there's the story on the Wilson chant.
I'm disappointed. I thought they really had come up with something original.
Well, we can be original. We'll say they're wrong. It's really the Castaway thing.
Good point. They wouldn't buy it.
No.
Look how far this guy stands off the plate. He's inviting you to pitch him away. So the target was in, trying to pitch him in. That's a pitch. I got the strikeout on Harper, down and in the dirt. Good pitch. Boy, he's been spiking that breaking ball in the dirt a lot.
Three and two for Ramos. And a little pop behind first. Long run. Freeman can't get there. It's a fair ball. Freddie bobbles. Runner around third is going to score. Revere never stopped running after that ball landed in fair ground right on top of the white line. And Eric O'Flaherty's error comes back to roost. It's now 8-1 Washington.
And they pitched him in and they jammed him, and lo and behold, this ball dropped right on the chalk. And then Freddie, after he got it on the first top, dropped it. And Revere had all the time then he needed.
Hear him? The woo, I think, is their.
Oh, is that the distinguishing?
However, they stole that from Ric Flair.
Yeah. Boy. They're in first place. What can you say?
How much?
No.
They're going to spank the Braves today, 8-1.
Maybe Walgreens will get a playoff share. I like watching this guy play.
Now, you said that from the moment you saw him, didn't you?
Like you said before, he's not just a good hitter. He's a solid third baseman, too. Had to wait his turn to play third, which is his natural position.
He had to wait for Ryan Zimmerman, who had all those horrible shoulder issues. And Zimmerman, with a big contract, was moved across to first base. Zimmerman had to wait until they resolved Adam LaRoche's status here. Rendon played second. So they've had moving parts all over their infield here. And that might continue until they figure out what to do with Trey Turner. Bouncer toward third. And a strong throw takes care of Rendon. Ramos to second, 2 outs.
We were talking to a scout today at lunch, who I think if you gave him a draft choice, let's say off of this team to start a team, it would not be Bryce Harper. It would be one of the other guys.
Yeah, I found that very interesting.
There were times where I certainly felt that way, when, as much as I liked Rendon and still do. But Bryce Harper's generational and still very young. Just a matter of, can you deal with all the other stuff?
I would think that'd be the biggest challenge. I mean, think about where you were when you were 22, 23 years old. There is no anonymity now, even in superstardom. And I know that sounds silly to say, but in this 24-hour news cycle world, there's no place to hide anymore.
And I just don't like guys that separate themselves from their teammates. And I'm not talking about lockering in a corner away from everybody. I'm talking about doing things on their own schedule. You know, not hitting with your team, hitting when you want to hit, where you want to hit. I don't get that stuff. I don't understand why any player, A, wants to do it, or B, feels entitled to do it and be allowed to do it?
Well, that's the question for me is, again, he's the player. Why not he, Bryce Harper, but he,
yeah,
overriding
superstar
in professional sports. Why is it allowed?
Yeah.
Fly ball hit toward left, and Matt Kemp with a closing charge gets there, and that retires the side. Washington adds a run in the home seventh. They lead now 8-1. Take a look at the prodigy Bryce Harper. We've mentioned a couple of times the remarkable year he had last year, the youngest unanimous MVP award winner in the history of our game. But look at some of these other incredible numbers and the incredible players that Bryce Harper has now spoken of in the same sentence.
Yeah, Ruth, Matthews, Williams, and as you said, third youngest in NL history behind Bench and Musial for MVP. Boy, Johnny Bench was good. Good grief.
And so was Tanner Roark. Dusty Baker let him walk out to the center of the mound, and the entire Nationals infield is going to come in and give Tanner Roark a big high five. On an oppressively hot day, he went 7 magnificent innings, and he's on his way to his 13th win. And listen to this crowd.
Sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The Georgia Lottery. and Synovus, the bank of here.
Back in Washington, it's 8-1 Nationals. Oliver Perez. And the first opportunity for Jace to swing the bat today, and it's a pop up to short. And there's the first out.
Jace had a good series, including that triple leading off the ninth last night to get that rally started. You can see Oliver Perez with that twisting turn back towards second base. Even the fact that he went 2/3 of an inning Friday night, walked 2, gave up a run, and hit a batter. It's not going to stop Style Master. He didn't get to do that Friday night.
Do you only think we upset some Nationals fans?
Oh, I'm sure.
They're unhappy that we pointed out the fact that some of their stuff is kind of unoriginal. And I'm not, and we're not making fun of them. We're just pointing out the facts, right?
Yep.
Bless their hearts. 1 ball, 1 strike. A line drive to left, and Heisey's there. 2 outs.
It's like with a lot of people these days, truth hurts.
They've got one other major thing they got to fix. While we're on the subject of making the Nats fans mad.
So you had a list.
Todd, yeah, well. Popped up. And we'll talk about that when the Nationals come up. That's what you National fans call a tease. It's 8-1. Washington leads in Game 3.
Is sponsored by Sherwin-Williams and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
8-1 Washington. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 8 runs on 8 hits for the Nats today. A run on 5 hits, 2 errors for Atlanta. A couple of big innings doomed. Tyrell Jenkins today, and Ryan Weber becomes the 4th Atlanta hurler to work.
Tell you what, Ryan's getting either some frequent flyer miles or some connector miles driving from Gwinnett to Atlanta. This is his 5th different stint with the big league club this year. He's been in 7 games. This is number 8.
And this is why he was brought here, in case the Braves had a rough game or were winning a big game. Get some innings for him, give the bullpen some rest. So his job, try to have an easy 8th. Heisey, Espinosa, and then the pitcher spot coming up for Washington. Now, you Nats fans out there, we know all about the tomahawk chop. We've never claimed that the Braves invented it.
Oh no, I mean Deion Sanders
in Florida State.
91, Florida State.
Right.
You know, there was no denying it.
Right.
Admitted.
Exactly. Wear it. Own it. Right. So the other thing that they got to fix here.
Okay.
Charlie Slows is a pal of mine. Does a great job on the Nationals radio broadcast with Dave Jagler. Really good guys. Really entertaining guys. As this one's bounced foul at third. When the Nationals win a game, Charlie has a signature radio call that he says, bang, zoom, go the fireworks, to celebrate the Nationals winning. Doesn't Charlie have that backwards? Because don't the fireworks zoom first up and then go bang?
Probably so. Except that they got to explode when they take off and when they ignite.
Yeah, yes, but
be kind of a bang, zoom, bang.
I always thought that the fireworks zoomed up and then the big colorful explosion. So it should be zoom, bang, go the fireworks.
I think you're getting personal.
Yeah.
Taking it personally now.
Fly ball well hit. That one is going to go. Chris Heisey with a line drive homer. Hit a sinker that didn't sink. His 6th home run, and the Nationals have scored 9 today.
One thing there's also no denying is that this is a good ball club. And they're feeling pretty good about themselves and the way they're playing, and they should. Keep in mind today, they've done this damage without Murphy or Worth in the lineup. And we got Harper back, so they're happy about that too. 9 runs, 9 hits.
So as Jackie Gleason on the Honeymooners said, bang zoom goes that fly ball to left.
Did he?
Uh-huh. Here's Espinosa. Didn't get that. It's 0-2. Couple of homers for the Nationals today. Rendon hit 1. Heisey's hit 1. And the Nats are on their way to their 69th win. And the Braves are going to fall to 1-8 this year against Washington. This one's lifted toward Kemp in left. But right off the top of the railing and into the seats.
That scout we were talking to today was raving about Espinosa's arm. Scouts have a rating system of, I guess, 1 to 8, with 8 being the best, and he said he's got an 8 arm. We've seen it a couple of times today.
The 0-2. Struck him out. So Espinosa an 0 for 3 day. First out of the inning. And this is Wilmer Defoe. That missed downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
One thing for the Nationals that kind of trapped, and I'm not going to pretend to know all the details of their TV contract.
Right into the shift. Fast runner. Well, I got him by a step.
But they share, or they're part of the Masson network with Baltimore, and Baltimore owns Masson. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So between that and then territory to the north or to the south is very limited. They're kind of between a rock and a hard place on their TV contract.
And there's a lot of litigation that's still pending on that, with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line that the Nationals feel that they have not gotten. And that's in the hands of the court system, the lawyers, Major League Baseball. It's a mess, to be honest with you.
If they get that figured out, and it falls their way, those judgments fall their way, look out for what this team might be able to accomplish on the free agent market, etc.
No doubt. And look, we're poking fun at the Nationals because we have a great deal of respect for them.
Oh yeah, I'm not even.
We're just being silly.
And it was mostly at the fans.
Yeah. Fly ball to left. Kemp on the run. What a catch.
Golly.
At the last moment, Matt Kemp reached up and took away an extra base hit from Trey Turner. He was thinking about another triple to left, but Kemp robbed him, and this game heads to the ninth inning. Trey Turner is quite a player, and Matt Kemp with quite a catch. Here feature brought to you by Synovus, the bank of here. It's been a terrific individual road trip for Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman.
And 2 for 3 again today to bump his average on the road trip up over 400. Slugging percentage almost 1,000. Great numbers, swinging great, hitting the ball to all parts of the ballpark. Some opposite field home runs. It's been a tremendous trip for him. And when we talked about Matt Kemp joining the team, this is one guy that certainly benefited from that because he's got some protection behind him. It's helped.
Freddie 2 hits today. Will try to score a run for Atlanta against Matt Belisle, who's been terrific in his first 27 appearances. A couple of finals in the National League. We'll get to those in a second as Freeman's at bat is underway. Mets won 5-1 over San Diego. Marlins beat the White Sox 5-4 today. More on that Marlins game in a second. The pitch. Producer Brian Woodrum tells me there's a Major League Baseball alert. Giancarlo Stanton might be done for the year.
Really?
After getting hurt yesterday. And that's a shame. If true, 3-0 the count. Sunday night game, Cardinals and Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cardinals had a nice win yesterday. St. Louis trying to get on a roll. It'll be Lackey and Leak at Wrigley. And Freeman's aboard to start the ninth. Third time Freddie's reached in the game. Here is Matt Kemp. Great catch to rob Trey Turner of an extra base hit moments ago. Into the seats, foul.
Over 29,000 here today, but most of them are headed for the Metro. Five and 5 trip. Two of the three teams contending ball clubs won their first place team.
If you'd said that to me starting this trip, you'd say, wow, hey, that's been a great trip. It has been. As you said earlier, today's game and the one in Milwaukee, really the only two bad games that the Braves had.
And today I don't even put in that category as the one in Milwaukee, because Tyrell settled in and it was still a 3-1 game going to the bottom of the fifth. Leadoff walk to the pitcher, got a 4-run inning going.
Yeah, as I say, that's the one recipe that Tyrell knows he's got to improve on.
Yeah.
Issue pitching behind him, issuing those walks. And that started the 4-run fifth. Braves hit to a couple of double plays in the middle innings. That helped Tanner Roark. As this one's whistled toward Rendon. What a turn. What a double play. We don't see Nolan Arenado a lot. When we do, we're awfully impressed. That was a missile hit at Rendon.
Good feed, good turn. Third double play today for the Nats. That was a pretty one.
So Nick Markakis, the final hope for the Braves. Nick 0 for 2 with a walk. Nick's had a good road trip. He'll rest up and get ready for the Twins and Irvin Santana on Tuesday night. If folks haven't seen the Twins live, come on out to Turner Field. Miguel Sano, Kenny Vargas, Max Kepler. Three very intriguing young prospects for the Twins. You know all about Joe Mauer, the Minnesota first baseman.
Sano and Vargas, you'll swear, took a bus over from the Falcons training camp, put on baseball uniforms.
Line drive toward left, and that takes care of the Braves. Washington wins 9-1 behind Tanner Roark, and 2 big innings, a 3-run